Hey, today we're going to talk about the often known spice of clove. And yes, you can make this into a tea. You can engage with this spice in various ways. But today I'm going to mostly focus on its use in the form of a tea. And some of you might be thinking, where does this actually come from? So I only learned recently that this clove plant actually comes from an island or series of islands called Maluku Islands. Apologies if I have pronounced that wrong. And these are a series of islands that are actually in the country of Indonesia. And they're like aromatic flower buds, and they were so prized in a lot of ancient cultures, and we're going to go through some of that later down the track in this vlog. But firstly, we're going to talk about some of the benefits and uses of this plant, and then we'll get into more of the ancient cultural stories and uses. So when we're looking at the physical benefits of working with clove, one thing, the predominant thing that comes to mind for me is how it can assist in things like gum and gum infections and toothaches. So you could also be chewing that, or you can be making it into a tea and like swishing it around your mouth. It can also be used as quite a good natural anesthetic and an antiviral medicine. Now, before I go any further, I'd like to remind you that I'm not a medical practitioner. And if you are pregnant and on medication and breastfeeding, then obviously err on the side of caution. Now, when I'm talking about the way in which this plant may benefit or may have some uses, I'm not making any medical claims here. I'm saying it may assist with X, Y, and Z. Now, some other things, physical aspects that clove can help with is things like working with your digestion, and it can also reduce bloating. It can fight off inflammation, and it's quite good at boosting your immunity. And many people would consider it quite high in antioxidants and it's just supporting overall health. Now, I would say the thing that I love to have clove in would be like my chai. I really love having chai tea that's got cloves in it, and I probably wouldn't use clove a lot in my cooking necessarily, just where I'm at in regards to what kind of flavors am I desiring at the moment. But it definitely plays a prominent role when I have flare-ups to do with my mouth, my gums, and with my teeth. It's definitely when I increase the dose of using it. Now, when we're looking at things like mental and emotional aspects that this spice can help with, is it can help stimulate the mind, which can also improve focus and bring about like clarity and mental stamina, which is pretty cool, right? This is kind of like natural, epic little spice that can help the mind in that way. And emotionally, it can help release like pent up like anger, grief, and frustration. And it can also create a feeling of like safety and inner strength, which is pretty amazing that such a spice could potentially do those sorts of things to us and our mental emotional state. Now, when we look into like metaphysical aspects of this spice, we're looking at things like how it was often used in protection rituals around the world. It's often associated with the fire element, and so people would often use it to ward off psychic attack or energy that they didn't feel that was very conducive to what it is that they were trying to create. And it can often also be associated with the solar plexus. So that's that center that's just sort of below the diaphragm there. It's a real kind of willpower space of our body. And so it can help with things like confidence and courage, personal power, like I said before. And in certain cultures, it was often used also in like spell work to attract abundance and love and success. Now I'm going to touch on some areas of the world that have used clove in various ways around over many years. And if we go and look at places like ancient China, which I found was quite interesting, they would often actually chew clove before visiting the emperor to freshen their breath, and they did that out of a matter of respect. When we go to places like India, it was often used to like purify the body and sharpen like the spirit, and also it was often used in a lot of spiritual offerings as well in India. Now when we go to so the Middle East, the Arab traders, you know, those sort of spice traders that were around at a particular predominantly in a particular moment in human existence, you know, more recent, shall I say, is that they often consider this to be quite a sacred spice, and they would be trading it, and a lot of people would be using it to enhance passion and also protect travelers. So even the spice traders themselves would be using it for those purposes too. And then when we look at some of the African traditions, we can see how they would often burn incense, you know, so they would make incense using clove, and they would use it to like invoke their ancestors and clear spaces and blessings of like new beginnings. And yeah, I find clove is probably a little bit underrated, you know, depending on your palate. Some people really love the flavour, some people not so much. But it really is such a powerful spice that we could be introducing for our overall health, or when we're in a need of a bit of a boost in particular areas. That was a bird, I'm not sure if you heard that. So yes, I usually like to have, you know, the spice in a tea, but you can also, you know, bring it into your space through essential oils. You can, you know, obviously get clove incense. You could even carry just dried pieces of clove around with you, just to work with the plant itself. You know, there is ways in which we can also work with these things without actually ingesting them. And I'd like to remind you of that, because for some people, maybe clove is not something that they can obtain, or it's something that they don't feel like they want to contribute to the trading of because it's not grown locally, etc., etc. So you can still work with clove, not necessarily ingesting it, but you can do it through imagination and art, obviously. So you can look at pictures, could be photos, paintings, drawings. You could create that sort of stuff yourself as well and bring that into your space. So yes, that is the vlog about clove, its benefits, its uses, some of the cultural stories of it, and I'll see you in the next vlog.